Hello, good evening to everyone, and you're all very welcome along to the Emerald Collective's first birthday stream. It's hard to believe that we've been around for a whole year. Feels like an age, and yet no time at all. Well, we're here this evening to chat about our origins, our community, and our future. So, the next 90 minutes or so, we'll have a few familiar faces join us for a chat and get their take on their involvement with the Emerald Collective and what they enjoyed the most over the past 12 months. You can see our founders here. With our one, we're missing Jean, I think, who was real life has happened. But that's all good. We still love you, John, and John was a huge part of the Emerald Collective when we started, and my TTRPG journey on VTTs, because I didn't know how a VTT worked until that man was very generous with his time. But anyway, I digress. First, though, actually, yeah, and with our collective mouths agape at Christian Van den Heever's technical and artistic brilliance, take a look at this video. Well, holy crap, that is amazing. Christian, you are an absolute master at your craft. Thank you very much. What a video and so many achievements. So look, first off, I think we'll go around the houses and we'll let everyone introduce themselves and say hello and sort of maybe just talk about your standout moments on the Emerald Collective for our founders here. I think I'm going to start my let's see. Let's go bottom right to bottom left. We'll start with Reparate Gamer.
What? I'm not ready for this thing. Why am I first? Hello and welcome all. I am Rip. I am the Dungeon Master, Games Master for Candlekeep Mysteries. I appear as Doravik in whatever adventures, arcane adventures of the Radiant Citadel's Rebirth of the Graven King is this week, as we've
all of
changed
the
that
above.
title a few times. And one or two characters on their way, which you will see in upcoming campaigns to feature soon. I also have the unenviable task because all those stats, I'm the idiot who keeps track of them year to year, day
Yeah.
to day, month to month. So I'm just happy to be here, I think. Hi. Thank
Are
you all
you
for
going to
being here.
reset those stats for the year, or do they keep
They
going?
work as yearly stats, so they will. I think they run out in the next week or so, and then we'll start the next new one because it'll be from the first stream as opposed to when we started.
I wonder, should
So
we
there's
have a read-only channel then with all of the lore?
well, you could
That gets
potentially.
updated per year, maybe. Not sure. Something to think about for the next
Uh,
year. Thank you, Repro Gamer. Moving up the screen, Ryan. Hey, how are you? And do you want to tell us a little about all the characters you're playing? You've got an upcoming stream in the new year, I do believe. And what's going on with you?
So yeah, hi guys. I'm Deranged Rhino or Ryan, and I play in a multitude of different games. Obviously, in Dave's wonderful creations, Rebirth of the Graven King and Softran Saga, and I've also been in a massive other lot of games. And like Dave, I got my start out because of Jean, looking for gamers for his game that he did. But yeah, I do have the consequential Quintrivium will be returning in the new year. And let's just say, how do I put this? They're all
Carefully.
going to die.
People might actually get that fabled TPK that they've always been typing about in chat. I think we even have a TPK emote still, don't we?
We do.
All I'm saying is
Do.
watch that first episode because there is going to be a lot of blood.
Episode 1, the gang go to hell. Thanks, Ryan. Carrig, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got your start and everything, and just your vibes and your ideas of where the Emerald Collective has come from and where you think it's or hope it's going to go?
Yeah, so I'm Carrick. I'm probably the most recently involved with TTRPGs out of all of us in the founders. I, much like Ryan and Rep, got my start in Jean's campaign back when that was running. And I've been here since. You have not been able to get rid of me for lack of trying. And I play in basically most things that come up that need a player on this thing because I have too much free time on my hands. I play Ren in Dave's Soft Round Saga. I play Baird in Craig's Heirs to the Hand game. Most recently, I have played Sir Aegis in Dave's Rebirth of the Graven King as a little guest appearance for a few sessions. And I run my own campaign, which is Arcane Adventures in Andromedus, which has just recently started and features a fair few people that we see regularly on stream now. And yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be here, and I can't wait to see how much we grow in the next few years and the new things we can deliver to our audience, like with podcasts and everything else.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about the podcast very soon. Christian, the quiet man behind the curtain usually, but also you playing one of our games as well. Holy God! Thanks so much for the gifted subs, you guys. Sorry, Christian.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I'm Christian. I used to host the streams, but I sort of had to shift focus. But I still do a bit of stuff in the background. Yeah, I play in Rep's Candlekeep game. I play a monk. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Cool. Thank you very much. And but in case anyone was wondering, Christian, top left in your screen, there's the wizard behind the video that you just watched, and we'll definitely be playing out again. Thanks, Christian. Stephen, let's hear a little bit about you, who you play in the games, and your connection to the Emerald Collective.
Well, I'm Stephen, obviously your Paladin pal here on Twitch and also on the Discord. And I think my connection into this world originally back in the dark ages through yourself, Dave. I think we met with our good friend who was also a DM here on the Emerald Collective, Mark Corrigan of Chinook Games.
Indeed.
And I think it was on one of our regular games that you said you'd found a community that we found common interests in and turned into our own, really. We evolved into a new species,
Exactly.
let's call it.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I play obviously Orixium Grim in your own campaign every second Friday here on Twitch. The Soft Round Saga, formerly Terrible Trouble in Templetown. And yeah,
I'm here for renaming campaigns, haven't I? Jeez.
Oh yeah, like Prince, just put formerly before it.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2 up and coming, well, 1 returning campaign via podcast, and then 1 original podcast.
Oh yeah, and yeah, we can talk about that in a little while, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much. And Ben, last but not least, Ben.
Hello. Hi, I'm Ben. I chiefly the GM of Against the Crimson Queen, Shadow Dark game. Also, I play the Iron Mind in Rep's fantastic Candlekeep game with a number of other people currently on the screen. And yes, also in an upcoming podcast, which I think maybe we can. I don't know how much we can tease.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Of
later.
course we can. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as well as being involved with the Patreon that we put out, mostly editing the content. I don't make any of the awesome stuff like the maps or the the monsters and magic items. Yeah, that's me. I guess. Yeah, I also actually had my introduction not to D&D but to VTTs with Jean as well, because he
That
helped
one's
me when we
Lot to answer for.
first did like a stream. I was like, right, I'm technologically illiterate, so I was like, and I didn't really know Jean was just like a little bit from Discord, and he was like so gracious and generous to just like hop on, on call for like 2 hours to help me through Roll20.
That was my
and
experience as
preparation for
well.
those
Yeah,
games.
like barely knew him, and he was just so generous with his time because I did not know how to run Roll20. Like I knew how to be a player, but he was like, yeah, yeah, no problem at all. Spent about 2.5 hours with me showing me how to
Yeah.
build the maps, use dynamic lighting and all the rest of it, and just
Yeah,
for
because
for nothing in
just,
return.
as I say, I'm no good. I'm generally like no good with tech. Anything. Just which again, I've always been very fortunate. I think with these streams, first Christian and now Kate, that it's very easy. Like I get to just show up and run games, and I don't have to know how to stream on Twitch because there are much more intelligent people taking care of it for me.
There is a lot in that, and we will have Kate on shortly. To
Basically,
have
though,
to
what
chat
we're all
about that.
saying is, if nobody likes the fact we're on, blame Jean for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. Yeah, like I said, the man has a lot to answer for. But again, what a hero! So generous with his time. We did put out well our social media absolute angel and wizard Freya. Raven Pride did throw out a few questions that we have sent into us by our friends on social media, but I'm going to fire one or two at our admins. I'm not going to tell you, or archmages. I'm not going to tell you who's getting them, but I think we'll only do two, and we'll move on to our community section pretty quick because Emerald Collective is nothing without its community, and I think that is the most important part of and facet of that gem that is the emerald, and who we are. So look, I'm going to pick a random question. Oh, here's a good one. Oh God, should we ask that? Yeah, I'm going to ask. Let's see. I'm going to ask Rep this one. Do you? This is a yes or no question, but I please elaborate. It's going to be a real short stream. Do you have any behind the scenes stories or funny bloopers that the community might not know about?
What am I allowed to talk about? What do we not have the restraining order on?
I have legal on speed dial.
Or I'll tell you what, we'll ask. We'll throw this out to everyone, and if anyone has any funny stories or bloopers, behind the scenes or funny stories about the community that the community might not know about, please.
Well, there's the obvious ones, like just before any DM goes live, the whole party is just absolutely fucking badgering them with different noise
mud flaps,
shit, and
I like the fact that Carragher is always late as well. He always gets it just as the stream is live. You'll hear what he says.
That's entirely intentional and has been since the start.
You absolute liar.
And Mudflaps is very much the tame version of what gets said.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you guarantee you got like a 40% chance. It's just like, right before we go live, somebody in the DMs was just like, but.
Yeah.
But not but.
That kind of happens on a podcast as well, I will say.
It's worse on that.
It is way worse.
You can edit it out.
Edited out. Yeah.
We have the cameras on. Yeah. And then, so there'd be like fucking me, and there's Dean and Steven and stuff, and whoever else is on, and we're usually like fucking, doing some sort of weird thing on the camera and whatever. Well, someone's trying to concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah. Kate, I think Kate's first experience of that was in the Starless Twilight, and she was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Obviously, because it's she didn't know that was it was a thing. But usually the mics are muted, and there's a moment between the keeper and the DM, and there's just silliness going on, like nose flutes or something like that.
We've almost broken Keith twice because of that.
I think so. And the amount of stuff I've had to cut out when I'm editing those is unreal. Like it's some of those podcasts have gone from 60 minutes down to 45. Like, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
One thing that, like, not even like the outrageous stuff, one thing that just gets me nearly every single time we play is like I do it, and Freya can, she'll mind me saying that she does it too. She comes on, which is whenever we're like, right, we've ended like we're recording a podcast and we like end, and as you said, we're on like Zoom, we're on video with each other just for the role playing. And it'll be like wrapping up, doing the wrap up for the episode, and be like, okay, and like see everyone, see you next week. And invariably, G and I are like waving at the like. There's no one, like no one can see us. It's just, I'm just so used to doing on a stream that it's like, all right, bye.
Yeah. Podcast world is very different. Oh my god! Thanks so much for all these gifted subs, guys. We love you. And we really, Jesus, we really appreciate it. I think we'll fire one more out to the group, and then I think we'll move on to our community section.
I have a blooper myself.
Oh,
actually,
excellent.
I'd like to throw in. First stream of Arcane Adventures Andromeda when Roll20 decided I'm not allowed to change maps, and we made Dave run up the stairs about 20 times to do it for me.
Yeah, I was the stairs goblin for that one, so I had to log in with Carrick's account on this screen while Kate was playing on that screen, and Carrick would, I think Kate would shout down the stairs when Carrick wanted to change maps. So I had to run upstairs in my dressing gown with my hood. It's a Darth Vader dressing gown, which is pretty much down to the floor. The amount of times I nearly went on my face. But always happy to help keep the show on the road. And I think we always do support each other quite a bit here. I'll ask one more to the gang, and then we'll move on to the community section. So, what has been the most challenging part of running the Emerald Collective, and how did you overcome it? Yeah, I think that's a group thing. I just think it's the same. It's the same as scheduling a game, just availability. That is the BBEG. Like, it's just we all have. Thanks so much, Cormac, for jumping in, and thank you. Happy birthday! Thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, I think it's just like we all work like full-time jobs and stuff like that, and it's just keeping the show running whenever you can. And
we have had that rule since the founding that real life comes first, and it has a habit of usually last minute deciding to remind you real life exists.
Yeah.
Why there's so many of us.
Yeah.
I think one of the hardest things as well was, so anyone that's been with us for a long time over our history, they know where we came from originally.
Yeah.
We know the issues we had with where we came from originally. And during that time of, okay, well, basically, fuck you to all of us from that set of people, having to make sure that we still manage to keep the stream going, get the community over, that whole month was fucking terribly stressful for all of us.
Yeah, there was a big
Christian's fucking working his absolute bollocks off, making sure the streams got up and running, got going. There was myself, Dave, Tom, just fucking hammering out invites to everyone that we had in the community over before, trying to get everyone over to the new Discord, which luckily Christian had a backup Discord regardless, so that worked out pretty well for us in the end. So that was a huge transition.
Yeah,
but the result of that has meant that we are much more in control of what you guys get to see, what you get to hear, what you get to deal with, and the community that's in large gotten bigger because of it. So because of that, that's why we're at this point a year on still, and much stronger, not only than where we started, but much stronger than where we started with the other fucking group.
Yeah.
And the thing
I like to think there's more trust here as well.
Just as we go into the community section, just again, I think it really highlights the importance of that, because there were many changes, but because I said we were able to migrate that over, and so many of the people who had been following us and our streams in that iteration with that crowd were able to kind of migrate over, and because of that, it's like they stuck around for like the community, for the
I think near the end of that era, the community was already going one way, I think, and the business was going another, and I like to think people kind of knew that. And I mean,
there was definitely a
everyone
difference
came with
between us as the community, and who were in control at the time.
That was kind of that was part of the issue, which was just completely fucking separate.
Yeah,
like we did all the work in the community aspect. Like, it was completely separate, anyways, from that standpoint, and it was
that definitely was the biggest hurdle we overcome.
Obviously, I was gonna say moving over as well. Like when unfortunately when Christian had to step away, and we had to the rest of us had to figure out how to stream and do, a job. Like, it really showed us that we really didn't appreciate how hard. Well, I'm not saying we didn't appreciate, but we didn't realize how much Christian did for us. And exactly,
we knew he was very talented, but not.
Yeah, we didn't realize exactly what. And
I do have to say, like, huge thanks to Roper and the guys from Flying Orc, because when I had a pimped out MacBook here, like M2 chip, 24 gigs of RAM. It should have run OBS like an absolute fucking dream, but it didn't.
Fuck Apple.
Like I know, right? And I was like,
I told
I
you day
I
one.
had hair when I started with EC, but I tore it all out. That's a lie, I didn't. But yeah, it was hell. But Roper was so kind with his time. He went through like step by step fault finding and ruling out everything it could have possibly been until we were left with the only thing that it was, and it was that my machine was Apple and OBS and Apple do not get on. So and then Kate stepped up. So which I think you should stick your head in the thing there and say, "There's our technomancer."
I was expecting you to have a white cat and like be stroking it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say the woman behind the curtain, but the woman behind the back of my chair. There you go. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Bond, we expect you to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just saw Dave trying quite hard. Hold on, I can hear myself. It's disturbing. Trying quite hard to get it working, and I just wanted to kind of take some of the stress off him. So I said,
really
"Second,
appreciate
I will give it a try." I
Plus
don't
you
know
have the
whether
better
you'll do
computer.
it, but thankfully, my brain was like, "Okay, we can figure this out."
Yeah, and you did. I really appreciate it because it
Yeah.
was. Whew.
Yeah.
I was about to give up streaming altogether, to be honest with you. So I really appreciate you saving the day. Thank you very much. I think
No wage.
yeah, all right.
No wage.
So yeah, I think this is a good time to hand over to the community type of things.
But just give Dino a warning to put his pants back on if we're going to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where am
Well, I'm
I
not watching
going?
if he puts his pants back.
I was just about to say, can't we just keep them off? Like,
Just keep the camera angle from the waist up.
Dino's like the newsreader who just has the shirt and tie on and then nothing on underneath. Um,
Donald
And
Duck.
by
yeah,
the way,
Go
guys,
to our Patreon for the full view.
in case anyone was wondering who Dino was, we met him one day when we went into the urinals and he offered to hold it for us.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Actually, I have
The
one
mic.
more thing before we go there. Rep, have you got all the stats to hand?
What would you like
Well, I
today?
So, you got any more of those stats?
These stats.
No sweet stats. I mean, so what have you got? You've got a list of all the characters.
So
Of
I've
all-
got a list of all the players,
Yeah.
all their characters are, what class they were, what race heritage they are, and what game system they are in. Are the
Okay,
things I track.
So let's go through the D&D ones. And do you want to tell us how many different classes we've had played? And are there any classes that haven't been played in the D&D?
So
Might have to sort that in a one shot if that's the case.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Everyone
Well,
plays that one class.
the one that's been the least popular in the last year, we've had one druid in this last year.
Yeah, I hate druids.
So 92 D&D characters portrayed, at least another 10 in things that have been recorded and not yet shown, who I'm not
Wow.
putting in this because they're not
Yeah.
yet revealed. But yeah, one druid out of all that lot, which is a bit like, really?
One
Uh,
And was that John?
No, that was for John wasn't ever actually came back as his character from.
Okay,
Things.
yeah,
This
that's
is in
true,
that
yeah.
year. We've had
Yeah.
just John as Tariff is our sole
Yeah.
druid in that time. That will change. I promise you. I know that will change, but
We're
most
gonna have to
popular
do a
is
circle of
Paladin,
druids.
unsurprisingly.
Stephen.
A bunch of fucking power gamers.
It's-
I love it.
Me and
Yeah,
Stephen.
love it.
Don't be
Comes
jealous
down
because you
from
can't
Drew
smite.
there.
Fuck
Well,
off.
Stephen put 3 of those in himself in terms of that number, and so we've got 3.
One shot wise, I probably put a fair few in there as well.
You've
You got to
done-
commit to it, Cardick. You got to commit to it.
You've
I
put
do.
2 in.
I've
recently, yeah.
Saragar, and then I've had someone before, definitely.
Saragar's not in there actually. I knew
Ah,
he's
3.
got one.
I was
hadn't
right.
tried him in. And then Rogue is our second most popular. Just 2 behind Paladin.
Interesting.
All those
Always
quick damage
lucky
dealers.
13 for those
That probably
rogues.
tracks fairly well with general D&D stats. I feel like
Does it?
Paladin and Rogue.
Okay.
Well, I know I'm
Paladin-
wondering.
Paladin,
because
Rogue, and
most certainly
Fighter.
Rogue. Yeah.
Like Paladin and Rogue are the arch nemesis of the times. Like, there's ever friction in the party. It's usually between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's been the
Paladins and
Paladin
Rogues are the
Wizard
number
recently.
one utterers of the phrase, it's what my character would do.
Yeah, I need to get a T-shirt with
You
that
see,
on it.
that laugh from Kate was basically her saying, "Yes, that's me."
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
That's a rogue.
I have to create the Discord role of Cackler.
That said, Dave has portrayed 3 rogues in that last year, so
I
he's
have,
putting
yeah.
in the thing for that one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a devil for a good rogue.
yeah.
Um,
A devil for a devil.
and how many deaths have we had Just the one, isn't it?
2 deaths.
2 deaths.
2 deaths
Oh, yes.
and 2 petrification statufying ones, but we're not counting them because they're not technically dead. So there's only
Okay.
2 actual deaths.
Is Tareth?
Just mostly
and who
dead.
was the second one?
So we had the
One.
great and powerful Okra, who was killed very early on in the Sunless Citadel, and then we had
Rip.
Madrigar. And those are
Oh,
our
Oh,
two.
wow. Sorry, I don't know if that balloon's
I,
there.
I think now that Strahd is over, we could probably release the fact that Tareth is very much dead, and that was not Tareth for the
He's-
last number of sessions.
Okay.
But yeah, in that regard. So that's
Repro gamers across where you're going like, why didn't you tell me that before?
sorry,
For the
Tom, I
stats.
forgot.
Okay.
Was
Essentially,
that something you noticed on stream?
I would say it became obvious in the final session when he ripped off his skin and turned into a red glowing
Because all
monstrosity.
of John's character, there's a little hard to tell the difference. We might have
It
just
could've-
done that as a normal.
Just
Yeah.
been like his exfoliation routine. You never know.
That is true.
Um,
He became an entity in my game only known as the Omen, which we may see more of in future games. Not just my game, in the
There's
come.
a wrestler called Omen Reigns. I'm moving on. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, we any more stats, Rep? Or
What do you want to know? We have stats.
Um,
It's what
I think-
intrigues
What's
you?
number of nat ones?
I don't.
I don't think he tracks
I
that.
can't track dice rolls.
I don't. I
Try
think a
dice.
calculator would explode with the amount of nat ones
I
Ryan has had.
think we could guess who has the most net ones. It's
Yeah,
probably Ryan.
yeah. I don't think we could expect our statistician to.
I don't know. I think our Fayos campaign, we had a lot of low rolls on that. I think we all
Yeah.
came pretty low on that.
There's a good one from chat. Highest damage.
Highest damage.
Oh, I'd love to know that.
Interesting.
We
I
know it's
can
gonna
tell
be
you
a
when I
paladin.
know when that. I can tell you when I know that was. I think that was our level 20 one shot that Craig ran,
The Force Grey one.
Force Grey one.
That was.
Where
a
I think
fun
it was
time.
Shane who did
Yeah.
199 damage in one.
Shane.
hit.
Shane. Of
Yeah,
course it was
plus-
fucking Shane. Of
a plus
course
3
it was
Vorpal
Shane.
sword against an Elder Brain Dragon.
That was
First
so-
hit of
yeah.
the game as well from a player.
That
That
was.
was half the health of the end boss. Craig just went like, "Mm."
Wow. Yeah.
Craig
yeah.
just-
Enough,
Craig
it was
just hit
Shane
the
in
plus
chat
button.
last.
Well, Shane is standing by in the other room, so we're going to go to him very, very soon. I think we need to get Shane on the stream as to do a crunchy character creation class. Which is a crunchy character
I think
creation
that'd be a
class.
great
That's all
idea.
the 4Cs. Yeah, excellent. Because I know he's talking to somebody that I know just to help them out with some little bits and bobs on how to on how to sort of beef up your character. Highest heal, says Dino Bags. Could have been Shadar with the heal spell. I don't
I
think
thought so.
get any higher than that.
Yeah, like,
Big
yeah.
black love scenes.
I can't think anyone else.
Many
would have done
faded
it.
black
No.
love scene. We
Was
had
that
not
the mass
yet.
healing word?
Mass healing word. Oh, if you add them all up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say if you.
Yeah.
a few of
Single
those now.
yields. If it's single yields, yeah, maybe. But if it's like separate yields, then definitely Dave
Yeah.
choosing to buy bits instead of pay his mortgage. To
Yeah,
yield players, yeah.
yeah, 20 D4, and then the sheriff's knocking on the door. Why didn't the mortgage go through? I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah, very true. Okay, cool. I think we might leave Rep there. Oh, actually, Rep's doing the next part, but I'm sure you can come up with a few more stats before we.
I'm sure I can find something for you.
And I think, yeah, look, thanks to our founders for being so generous with your time. I think it's time to hand over to Reprobate Gamer to helm the next part.
Now
of our
you're in
birthday
trouble.
stream. And that's all about community. So, see you in a second.
Right, so we're all off now. Apart.
Where we are. Are we live? Are we not live?
We are live.
We are live. Sorry,
Yeah,
I can't tell.
hello.
The delay on my Twitch stream is so long behind. I don't know where. So,
I'm fully
hello and
dressed.
welcome back. He's not fully dressed. He just showed us what he's got down below, and well, never mind. Hey, hello and welcome. Welcome to the community section for the Emerald Collective. We are glad to have you all with us. Thank you for trusting us with your time. You'll see we have some new faces around the table. Me and Dave are still here. I'm afraid you can't get rid of us that easily. We stick around, like black slime or yellow mold or something. We're always there on these things. But Let's start round. I'll start with Shane, as we mentioned him last. Shane, say hello to the people at home. What do we know you for at the Emerald Collective?
Hello, people at home. So my name is obviously Shane. I've been around since the start. Similar story to Stephen. Started off playing with Mark and Dave and Stephen, and then we found this community and jumped in with both feet. I've been on, I suppose, Dave's Sovereign Saga, playing Jaden, the human battle master fighter, who's gone off on a long walk.
Very long walk.
A very, very long walk, yeah. I'm usually good for a one shot or two. And I have done some off-screen DMing in the background when life permits it.
Yeah.
That's me, yeah.
So one of our game systems shown in the video was actually Shane running Pathfinder 2nd Edition for people who hadn't run it before. So this is, I think, wonderful that we can do that. I know we have on occasion done it for 5e, and it's nice that we'd be able to, every once in a while, we'll just do that little small quiet behind the scenes thing that the community members will take advantage of. Rolling on down, Paddy, you are next on my list of victims. I mean, people to talk about.
How's everyone?
Introduce yourself to the community.
Hi, Paddy is my name, and I'm lucky enough to be playing on here in the Emerald Collective as Captain Phelim Fontaine on Dave's game Rebirth of the Graven King, which I just love playing. I just like having a bit of fun. And what am I known for? I suppose clean shirts, cooking up nice meals in the evening, and failing to push people off.
This is all.
The mother-in-law jokes. Yeah, she's under the table here. I would let her up there tonight.
Okay, we're going to move past on before we hit the Twitch stream conditions. Dean, good evening,
Hello.
good sir.
Yes, thanks for introducing me as the bottomless person. Thanks for that, Ariel. Yeah, you're so dead on. I remember seeing this bunch of crew. No, not the privy conversation, but when we were at the Keith's game in the castle. Jesus, how many games ago was that?
That was a good while ago.
Sort of one.
A while back, yes.
Ages and ages ago, and then a few one-shots, and I'm now in the podcast playing Benson Cartwright. Season 2, not saying anything much about, but I have another person there.
Excellent
I want to say his
stuff.
name, but I'm not going to say his name.
Keep a surprise.
One-shots, I've been in a few of them where I played my murder cleric, Malleus Tempest. I also played the split personality character, Eugene Golbrana, which
great fun to watch that.
I don't know what am I best known for apart from the blurbs and twists. Yeah, I like to throw the spanner in the wrench when there's a story on and get eyebrows raised, blood pressure up, and Carrick's hammer trying to hit me. But
Always those sorts of things. We'll carry around and we'll go to Drew. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. I suppose I kind of first met some of you guys through AdventureCon.
What is this AdventureCon of which you speak, Drew?
Yeah.
Maybe you could just introduce me to this. I'm volunteer.
AdventureCon is a TTRPG con that we have in Galway every February, and it's a fundraiser for our youth club. So we have a youth club for just secondary school kids, and we play D&D and other TTRPGs. And then every Friday we kind of rope a large chunk of the TTRPG community here in Ireland to come down and throw some dice.
What dates
for a
was
few
that in
days.
February and whereabouts?
Dang it. February 22nd and 23rd, and we're at Lochray Hotel in Spa this year.
The Lochray Hotel, 22nd, 23rd, 23rd. And there's rooms available if I was coming from internationally?
There are rooms available, and we do have discounted rates if you ring them and say that you're with us. However, I will say that those discounted rooms are literally, they might still be there.
So you better get moving fast if you really want to see a Lochray next
And tickets will be available on our website, adventurecon.ie, on the 28th of this month.
It is one of the best things.
There you
I think
go.
it's one. Is it one of the biggest cons in Ireland now?
In terms of TTRPG cons, we by far have the most tables. And
That's amazing.
Last year we had, over the 2 days, we had 74 games run. This year we have 101 that have signed up.
That's a lot of games.
I don't know where we're going to fit you all, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
Some people in hammocks swinging above from the ceilings above. We'll do
Yeah.
2-story things.
Convention Centre in Dublin next year.
We're not doing the dice rolls on the
One-off,
higher
yeah.
ones. We're going to do
No, it will stay in the west of Ireland. We don't know where, but we're staying in the west of Ireland. But then I also have done I've been roped into doing a couple of one-shots for Emerald Collective, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful having you with us. And last on
thank
my
you.
list, but definitely no one is least, Freya, our social
Hello.
manager extraordinaire who bullies us all around.
Yes, I am the one that you see everywhere, unfortunately. So, but you ain't gonna get rid of me. I started, geez, back in the Violent Madness time. I started watching it, and I got hooked. And then I joined the Discord and just started talking to yourself, Rep. And then we did a one shot.
Are you about to blame me
And-
for being? Oh God.
Yeah, no, it's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Me
Yeah,
and
we
John
had that one
together, we are
shot.
the-
And
did.
then you started Candlekeep and you were like, do you want to be in this game? And I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. You're like, you're grand. And we go live in 3, 2. I'm like, oh my God, what do we do? And yeah, and I talked to yourself, I talked to Ryan, Dave, Katie, Beth, I talked to all of you guys for every advice that I've ever needed. And anytime I need it in the Discord as well, everybody's always there. So it's just been amazing. And I can't believe it's been a year.
It has been a year. It's been rather a year to go through as well. It has been some ups and downs as we've gone through this whole thing, but I think where we are, I think we're pretty happy with where we got to. And maybe I have a few questions I can throw out to some of you now. We'll see who of you likes these things. Dave, of course, we know. I won't, unless there's something more you want to add before we push on to this section.
No, and if there's anyone that wants to jump in, I think from our chat, I think I spoke with Kate and said that I'm happy to step out if someone in our Twitch chat wants to step in and talk about their experience with the community. So do let us know. But no, I have nothing more to add except for how much I love this community. And
Yes. Raise your glasses.
I think the thing I love the most about the Emerald Collective community is that we always say, look, if you like what you're seeing in the stream, jump into the Discord. We'll get you on a one shot, and we'll get you on a stream. And I think we've Kermit and Chad who did exactly that.
That's exactly what happened with myself. It's so organic. You don't know what's happening until it's happening. Like it just happens, and all of a sudden you're here, and you make so many new friends, and it comes out of nowhere.
That pathway to playing, I think, is the thing I'm most proud of the Emerald Collective, because we will get you in and we'll get you on, and it's that simple.
Yeah, and no matter how nervous you are or scared, or if you feel like, oh, I don't know, I've never read the books, I have no idea what I'm doing. You've never felt that kind of condescension or anything. It's like, no, ask us the questions, let me know, let me show you that. I forget the dice shapes, for God's sake, and it's been 3 years of playing and nobody's ever made fun of me for that. So I'm like, guys,
yeah, it's very
many
easy
other things to
going,
make fun
which
of you
is
for. It's a fine.
something I enjoyed when I started, because I was quite nervous. I still do get a bit nervous coming on, even with the little bits at the start saying hello and stuff. But during the game, and you're clicking different buttons, and you click the wrong thing, and it's you're not entirely sure. I've never played Fire before I started playing with Phelim, and it's just very easy going and relaxed, and fun is the main thing. I just it's just like a normal group of friends, really, to be quite honest.
I'll let you into a secret. The DMs feel scared before the games as well. Right beforehand, where they're going.
Can confirm. I remember my first stream. This Christian's voice in the background. 30 seconds. I'm like, oh God, 10 seconds, and you're on. I'm like, oh God.
you're just like 3, 2, 1. You're like,
hi. Yes.
That doesn't go away, by the way. That does not go away. Yeah.
It doesn't. It's okay though all the way through. But let's get to some questions going on. Text chat, Twitch chat. Sorry, feel free to throw stuff in. But one thing I will throw out to those of you who are here: are there any themes or genres you'd like to see explored in future campaigns or one shots? What intrigues you you've not seen yet? What can we bring to your crystal ball? Open question.
All right. Well, I think I would like to see some AD&D Second Edition.
oh,
More old school.
Yeah. So I'm looking for a VTT that can handle it. I have all the old books. The pages are yellowed with age, like myself. And yeah, it's just I think I'm gonna ask Kate to jump in here. Community part that I think you can jump in on too. Yeah, I think
Come over.
AD&D second edition I think would be awesome. I think I really want to run Paranoia as well. I don't know if anyone's seen or played Paranoia.
Paranoia definitely has a lot of interest.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of requests for Paranoia games at AdventureCon. I'm just saying.
Really? Okay, cool. I could probably make that happen. I got the book there recently, actually.
I think
we
I
can
find
make
it
this happen.
hard to go back to a D&D.
You would find because you played that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find, hold on, I find fifth edition so much more crack and things happen faster and you're not waiting 2.5 years to level up or whatever. I don't know. I more enjoy it. I enjoy it more than AD&D, but I would definitely get in on a game if there's any chance to play D&D. I'm there.
Do you have interest in some of the older school stuff?
Do they have kind of like a one-shot kind of thing that we could try it for people who've never done it before?
AD&D. I'm
Yeah.
looking for a VTT that can handle it. I don't
Okay.
think there's a Roll20 set up with the rule books. I could probably create something crunchy and but it's hardcore. Like I mean, like if you meet I think I spoke about this before, but like you've got undead creatures that literally hit, do damage and then you lose a level.
Whoa.
So it's hard, it is.
That's been about for a long time, sure.
Yeah.
Succubuses and vampires used to do that, and remember the to hit armor class 0.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Second
Yeah.
edition, like you know what I mean. So that's the kind of thing. But that was terrifying. Like now you see, there's a spectre in the room. Right, Grant's going to kill it. Spectre in AD&D second edition would drain you 2 levels per hit. So you'd be like, there would be a whole session of hold on, close that door. Right, what the fuck are we going to do? How are we going to? What are we going to do? Is there any way we can just leave, tell them we did the job, and come back? It was hardcore. So yeah, I can certainly run one. I think there was a very old game that I ran where everyone was level 1 characters, but they knew that they had been level drained from level 20. So they had these high powered magical items, but they had 4 hit points. They had the memory of being able to cast the wish spell, but not knowing how to do it. So it was good fun to roleplay. So I might work on something like that.
The additions that don't bother me at all. It's the genre really I want to see more of. When we done Silver Linings, even as a player, it was frightening to play because you took 6 hit points. Oh, that's not so bad. Oh, you're there's half of your head missing or something. That was frightening. You would open a door and it was just real horror based games where that's where I'm at.
It was great, yeah. And if anyone's like listened to that podcast, like Mark is just like
fantastic.
That module's up for sale on Drive-Thru. You should get it. It's dirt cheap. It's far cheaper than it should be. And
when I meet him, I'm throwing stuff at him for the stuff he put me through. Just coming in and throwing staplers, everything.
I'd love to see a battle royale or a series of battle royales happening.
See, battle royales is something we do actually keep talking about here and there. So we have the rule set to do it as well. That has been created. I will say
is that for
we have
5e,
that.
is it?
Yeah, so it's a 5e. We worked out the rule set for how you would do a rotating cast of battle royale characters to narrow it down.
Oh my goodness.
We just
Would you
haven't
do
actually doing it.
like just 1v1, or would you have like maybe 4 or 5 people battling each
Well,
other
that was
in
the
a
thing,
circle?
because they was flexible. You could do it either way. That you could have it 1v1, or you could start with 4v4, and as you work down your way to the finals, it gets to 3v3, 2v2.
It would be hard.
Down
It would be hard to do, but if you had like 6 people in fighting each other, you could do the initiative order at the end of each turn.
Oh yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
You know, so you'd have everybody go, and then the person who go last might get the first go again and murder someone in the face.
And then you things like the map's always closing down, so you don't get this thing where people are hiding in corners because there's no corner to hide in. Because at some point that force barrier is just going to straight through whatever you're hiding through.
Thinking about the maps and thinking I could add blood to that one
or traps
or
pits
as
and
you
things.
go along.
Yeah.
So I've already been doing that.
Or maybe if you cut Ren's other ear off, you get advantage on your next attack.
I can
Going
imagine what
going back to the
Carol-
question, I've
Yes.
actually been going the other way. I have been playing a little bit of Mothership, which is great.
Mhm.
And it was on stream a year and a bit
It's
ago.
about 2-3 years ago. That was
Two-
one of the,
yeah,
fir-
yeah.
the first time we did a
But
Halloween
I actually got to
sport,
play
we
it
did.
there recently, and then I've also been looking at the Starfinder, the playtest for that as well. So I've actually been going sci-fi as opposed to further fantasy.
That's
and
true. We
that's been
haven't
fun.
done a lot on sci-fi, so it
Mm.
would be certainly something we could like to investigate more.
Yeah,
I-
been starting to watch a lot of the cyberpunk stuff lately. Been
Mm.
getting into that side of
Mm.
things.
The assets.
Absolutely crazy. I love it.
The
It's
sci-fi
all-
ones I find would be way harder to explain because you have to figure out why something does something, whereas in 5e or
True.
something fantasy, it's just magic.
Yeah.
Dragons.
Science.
Technology.
Bitches. Yeah. Science, bitches. Yeah, I
book
think
spat
something
stuff at
like
me.
sci-fi horror, like something
Mm.
like Event Horizon would be amazing.
Mm.
That would be killer.
I've been looking at just the Alien thing because I was hoping to run a thing for my family before Christmas at some stage, and it looks like if you're someone that can get the atmosphere right, I think it would be quite a good game.
The stress mechanic in Alien is a lot of fun.
Yes.
The stress mechanic in the real world, not so much.
No,
Well,
there's a
I'm an
mechanic.
expert
There's a
in that.
stress mechanic in the game, and it's
Yeah,
just
I know,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
I'm an expert on the stress mechanic in the real world. Yeah, for sure.
That sounds
Yeah.
like the Curse of Cthulhu. What was it? The
The sanity.
sanity one.
Mhm.
But wasn't there a moment in, I think Stephen, your paladin pal, posted that in the No Silver Linings chat, there was a moment in where I think it was Dean.
I know what you're about to say. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly
that
what it is.
that
'Cause
you
this is why I'm
made
throwing
this, that
stuff.
you failed your sanity check, and then you had to make an intelligence check, and you're like, knock it out of the park and
Yes.
smash it. And then Mark's
Get that
like,
up
actually, you
already.
want to fail those, because basically it's you either if you make your intelligence check, then you understand crystal clear that this is a thing that should not have happened or even exist. But if you fail your intelligence check, your mind just goes, that was.
I obviously don't know what this means.
That was the Mars bar I had last
That
night.
could have been such an epic moment, and it turned into an episode that should have had an advert for grown-up nappies. It was just.
It was an epic moment, just a slightly different way from you were expecting in that first roll.
Good question in chat there, Rep.
Are we going to see Halloween series this year? I mean, I throw that open to the GMs who are around at that time. We aren't doing a thing every day of a week this time around. I will say that's going to be a little bit too much to put in, but I'm sure there will be touches of Halloween for those who are
I'm
running
happy
games in that week.
to try and write something. I mean, look, I came up with a one shot in 4 days. I'm sure I can do it in 4 weeks. On the 31st,
Keith.
I'll figure something out. Yeah, I'll figure something out. We can definitely do it. Well, yeah, I can fit in a Halloween one shot for sure.
If there's definite interest for it, yeah.
I mean,
Like I
everyone loves
love
a
the
Halloween.
spooky side of it.
Please.
Halloween's my birthday. That means you have to do it. So job done.
yeah.
Our first victim.
What a great birthday!
Yeah.
Jealous. Best
And
birthday.
that's you miss out on a day during the year because you have Halloween you can celebrate, and then your birthday should be something like the 14th of March or something.
I'll
Very
take
true.
the spooky birthday.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
it's
great.
absolutely badass because my weak girl loves Halloween, so win.
Oh, that's so cute.
Spooky
Nice.
birthday.
Yes.
We'll move on to
so-
another question going around through. What I'm interested in things, what role do you enjoy playing most? Do you like being a player? Do you like being a GM? Is there something else that intrigues you? I'm going to go round our thing on this one. Shane, we're going to. Oh, he had his head fit off. Gosh,
No.
Shane, we'll start with you on that question.
What do I
prefer
like
to be a
doing?
player, a DM, something else?
No, I mean, I enjoy so where I'm at life. The less amount of work I have to do, the better. So I do enjoy being a player, and I fucking love seeing what people create. I'm always good for pushing the big red button. If you put it there, it's there for a reason. So, you know, why would you not see what they've created? Is my thinking on that. I do enjoy DMing. I just don't have the capacity to do it as much, and obviously it's nice to absorb from the likes of Dave and Mark and the rest of the crew from the previous page, but No, I'll do a little bit of everything, as and when I can.
But at the minute, a player is that's absolutely fair. There is
Yeah.
definitely something to putting a character together and going, does this work in this moment, or does this really not? But that's still fun
Yes.
to go play anyway.
And where I can build a character that will absolutely wreck a DM's head, and
Not every time, though.
But it just allows us to bump up the CR. That's all. So that's great.
absolutely.
We just keep adding more enemies in with more abilities.
I'm an enabler with this stuff.
Thank you for it, Paddy. Same question to you.
Yeah, I look at I have more experience as a player. I love it, and I love I won't say poking holes in the game mat as such, but I like having a look around and seeing what I can do. I have a love of writing and world building in my head and in copybooks, but translating that into being a DM, a successful DM is it's a bit harder than I think I would have the experience for at the moment. I've tried before with Dave and Kay, and it went. I actually lost the rag, which is kind of almost like a blooper. I think I got take with one of the players and ended up killing him with an NPC in about the 4th session. But so I think I need to be just a bit more life experience, like they say when they're rejecting you from interviews before I.
I mean, I will say in terms of, because obviously we got that one game we've shared together, and it's great just seeing suddenly these detailed histories or backstories or thoughts for Palladium come up. It's like, wow, okay, we need to up our game on this one. Never mind what they were doing the rest of these things. Dean, player or DM?
Both. Although I do DM a lot because there's a couple of my players actually in chat. My daughter's playing. Hello, Laura. She might want to say hello. Want to say hello?
Say hello if she wants.
Come on,
We're on the internet.
She's going for her bath. Hello.
Start them young.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Actually, gorgeous.
Say hello. Yeah. You gonna watch Paw Patrol? Yeah.
Tell her shout natural 20.
Shout natural 20.
Oh.
I've been DMing for a long time. I'd say close to the guts of 10 years, to be fair. The biggest one I enjoyed doing was whenever COVID started, and just before we started, it was supposed to be a one-shot. And then everybody went online, and I said, right, we'll go online. This is going to last maybe a month or two. No.
Has it finished yet?
Yeah, it finished. It finished. There was tears, there was laughter, there was a whole lot. But because we didn't know when it was going to finish, it was every second week during COVID. I just didn't know what was going to happen. Didn't know. I would prepare, and then it went veering off. And that's what I love about DMing is your players are on their toes, but a DM has to improvise because players are on their toes at a full sprint. You know, you never know what they're going to do. Are they going to push that big red
they'll
button?
always go off in a direction. There'll always be something, I didn't even consider that was an option.
This is a true story. This is a true story. My wife had to go and pick up in the middle of one of our games. We had to go up and pick up one of her relatives. So she said, play yous on. And this is no word of a lie. I pulled this out of a hat. They sat at a door, wouldn't open, slinging spells at it, searching in it for arcane traps, the whole shebang. And it wasn't until Leah, if you're in chat, say hello. You might not be, Callum might be. She was really quiet at the time, chat, and she'd only started playing, and she said, can I reach and try and pull the door? It was a pull door, not a push. And they were there for 20 minutes, half an hour. And they went through spell slots for 20 minutes. It was so funny. But as a player, I like being part of a unit, you know.
Yeah.
You know, being able to. My favorite character so far has been he's in a. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but he's coming up in a game, but gives off the impression that he is one genre of this class, but he's not. He's just not. You know, he has not surprises, but just a backstory that is. I'm not giving anything away, but it's a really weird backstory that leaves him that he looks like for example, a tiny wee.
You can talk a little bit about it, dude. There's no hassle, like.
Ah, fair enough. So he's a bard sword fighter.
Not everything.
Yeah, no, he's a bard sword fighter. So, it's College of Swords. It's my favorite class in the game because if it starts proccing right, you can't touch him in melee combat, and he's based loosely on in Inigo Montoya, you know, from The Princess
Yeah.
Bride. It just that scene in that movie where he's like just before he gets killed, he doesn't get killed because the sword just starts blocking. That and you ever seen the movie? What's his name? Sam Rockwell's in it, and he's the assassin who dances. Mr. Right. That's basically the vibe that this character gives out. But I really love playing him. Yeah, and his voice is in a recent movie, and he didn't do it right, and I'm very annoyed because everybody will think that I'm copying that person, and I'm not happy.
But that is, Dino's character is in an upcoming podcast that we will talk about later, I think.
Very cool. Drew, you've had time to think about this question now. You're not getting away from it.
That doesn't help, though. You know, you can have all the time in the world.
I was listening to all the others. I didn't want to interrupt them.
No, kind of the same as everyone else. I really enjoy both of them. And it goes through phases. Like I kind of go through GM burnout, and then I'll just play for a while, and then it's like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, dust the books off and start running games again. I've just recently started doing that, and because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm running Curse of Strahd with one group online.
Oh, I love Curse of Strahd.
And Old Gods of Appalachia. In person. So anyone familiar with that?
I know.
I've heard the name.
System, yeah. It's
but
I
I mean,
highly-
wow. Appalachia's a spooky place anyway.
Yeah, but I highly recommend the podcast, and it uses the Cypher system from Monty Cook Games. And we just had our first sort of real session in person, and it's with predominantly new players that weren't loving the crunch of D&D, the combat of D&D. So I was like, all right, well, let's try this. They had all played together before, and I was friends with them and kind of slotted in. And I just kind of sat there, and I'm the only American in the group, got a Ukrainian woman and then a bunch of Irish people. And they all sat there in actually fairly decent Southern accents and Appalachian accents. And nice. I just sat there for 15, 20 minutes as they all completely acted out that they were at this dance. And, you know, before anything had kicked off at all, you know, them meeting different family, different kin, and, you know, updating each other in life stories. And I was just like, this I love. This was great.
Yeah. That mythical moment where the DM doesn't have to do anything because the players are just so invested. It's like, all right, I'll just wait till you carry on.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very cool.
And with the youth club, with Athenry Adventurers, you know, it's just an hour and a half, kind of once a week. And so you don't get those deep dive moments, but the teenagers, they really leap in those moments, and they don't take a long time to get into character. We've got one who will only speak in a Mickey Mouse voice for the entire time. And you just that's her character. Sorry, not Mickey Mouse. What is it? Steamboat Willie?
That's Mickey Mouse.
But it's the copyright-free version.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Steamboat Willie is, yes, he's copyright-free now. He's past he's too old. So.
But I just love those moments of as much as I love playing, I like watching my players love the game that that we're kind of putting through together.
Nice. Yeah. And Freya, I know you haven't DM'd yet, but so is there any interest in doing so?
I have been asked so many times to start learning how to DM, and I am scared because I see all the work you guys do for it. Yeah, like the amount of prep and you know me, I have a memory of a fish. I feel like I'd freak out. Right at the moment, because of college and work schedule, I wouldn't have the time for it right now. But I'm thinking maybe during the summer I might be able to shadow someone and see what it's like. You know, that kind of way, because I see Carrig and all the work he's put into the new campaign, and it's all his homeworld on all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. So right now it's very hard keeping up with the 5 characters that I have for stream on top of the home game and the podcast.
I mean, I will say, I Solo Clicks in chat, I'm starting with a published module. You can still make it your own, but at least a lot of the groundwork is already done.
That is true.
And we've had this talk before.
Totally.
I mean,
sure
I
the
would
soul of the
love
devil.
to, if I had the opportunity, possibly next year, depending on how things go. This is a very big what if. I love horror. I love terrifying. I love all that kind of stuff. So I could maybe learn to run a Halloween one next year.
I ran the what is it? Just looking at here, the Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is also
Yes.
horror, and Curse of Strahd I wouldn't recommend to. I mean, I know a lot of people who do run it for their first one, but it's
Okay.
I did run Rime of
I
Frost
would.
Maiden.
You might want a little remix of Curse of Strahd doing that first one.
Yeah.
So starting
But
one.
the Rime of the Frost Maiden I think would be good for new DMs
good
who want to do a
jumping point.
horror one. Something to look at.
Do Curse of Strahd. It's fluffy. It's made of marshmallow. It's great. Strahd has his own brand of ice cream, so
He does.
he can't be that bad.
Really?
And I do like ice cream.
Yeah, it sucks.
Haha.
And on that note, what do you reckon, Dave? Do you have time for
Wow.
one more
Jeez.
community question, or do we need to
I
move
think so.
on?
Yeah, just in the talk of DMing and playing, I do believe our techno mistress is working on. She has an idea that she's thinking about working on, maybe running a game sometime. So I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I do know that you're running ideas. Like she's. I'm getting a taste of what it feels like to have somebody just throw ideas at you. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Because I'm only throwing them at
Yeah.
you. Do you want to scoot in there?
I couldn't sleep one night, and I just started thinking of a way to start a game that wasn't in a pub or in a jail
Hey.
Yeah.
or on a ship. So I came up with an idea.
Hmm.
I'm not going to tell you.
It's not
But
a pub. It's a tavern.
it's a B&B. No, yeah, I just come up with this idea that's just a kind of an island, so that it wouldn't be huge world that I could start.
Perfect for a mini campaign.
Yeah, because I was like, could this sound like maybe a couple of one shot, two shot? I can't do that. One shot or two shot things, but the more I was telling Dave, he was like, okay, this sounds like a mini campaign. This sounds like there's way too much for like a couple of shots, but
Or a 3-shot.
or
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a stranger to those.
I mean, we all know what a one shot really means.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know.
The
don't we?
Dave one shot.
I'd be the same as Freya. I'd be just a little bit nervous because I feel like I don't know enough. But I think with the community we have, that there's so much like support in the chat and stuff for people if I didn't know something. Because I do see like DMs.
Oh, I'm always going here. I'm like, what's the rule for this? What's the rule for that?
Yeah.
I just the rules are there to help me tell my story, and that's it.
The
So,
rules are
and
a
if-
loose
if,
stack of
you know,
pebbles.
if
Yeah,
it-
the rules are a guideline.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
exactly.
that's the one thing. Like there is no egos things. Like I remember like there was a game before. It was mainly DMs playing in that game, and nobody knew what the rule was, and everybody just went, "Okay, guys," and you all just talked about it for about 5 minutes, and we're like, "Okay, that's the plan." Like,
that's the rule going forward.
yeah,
then as well,
that's
which is
that's
great.
just what we're gonna do today. You know, it's not a
Yeah.
rigid, that kind of way.
I think that's what you need the rules to set that guidance for going through. But I think that you should be quite easy to go. Rule of cool is going to apply in this circumstance
Yeah.
and not again. Or
Yeah.
actually, that's just utter stupid. We're now going to rule this.
This is my
You know.
rule.
This is my rule. This is my world. I am God. Therefore,
Dave,
I'm
is there a way we
wait.
can get? Is there a way we can get that soundbite of Keith for if somebody does like
Oh
a
my
rules
God, yeah.
lawyer where he goes like, "Oh, for J fucking
Ah.
J." Like if somebody comes out there, just
Play it
go
in there.
for fucking Jesus.
Ah, for fucking Jesus.
Every
I
time I
listen
hear
to
it.
we'll all
that-
make
I
sure we have a
listen to that.
soundboard and go.
I listened to that over
Yeah.
about 10, 20 times, laughing my head off.
It is fun, yeah. It's
Oh,
poor old,
God,
poor old Keith. If you've listened to No Silver Linings, long suffering. He's the only one that an entity made contact with on the way into
In
town.
contact with?
Yeah, and
Oh, hi.
like when we drove in, we all got willpower saves, and he was the only one that failed it. And forever on, then he was release me. He was getting just short bursts of communication, shall we say? Yeah, and a
I love
Shane
how
says,
Dino's just died there in the corner.
yeah,
There's a couple of
poor
scenes that
fella.
still play over my head, and they're going to be there forever. But
Yeah,
The
but
Dave, when Benson turned on his heel and pulled the pistol out, walking back into the house, like, right, bitch.
yeah, there's some great moments there, really. And look, we've loads more coming down the tracks as well. Oh yeah, sure. Fire another question out there, Rap.
Another question. Ooh, what should I pick? What should we go for? All the questions to go. I didn't think I'd get a third one, so I only went looked for 2.
I should be back in 1 second.
And he runs away just before I ask him a question. Love it.
He knows.
Let's go with this one then. How do you stay engaged with your characters and the storyline between sessions? I'll do that as an open one out to whoever wants to jump in first.
Oh, I'll jump in right in there. It's a 45-minute drive to work every morning. I started listening to other, maybe I should be promoting it. I started listening to other podcasts, and then my mind just wanders to different characters that I'm playing in different games. And I'm like, I've just missed the entire podcast, and it's a waste. I have to go back. But it's just that drive to work, drive home. That's where I'm at all the time. Phantom's Head a lot of the time. Other characters, Salmor, and then I'm like, oh, it's like 2 weeks to the next game. I'm just like, fuck. I just want to just hurry up and get there and get to the
So
next
are
game.
you going for what they're going to do in the circumstance that comes next? Are you going back in the history to
No,
define moments?
it's like it's back in the history, or it's other ridiculous stuff. It's like stuff that hasn't happened. I'm just thinking, what would they do if this was happening? And what would they be doing on a Sunday afternoon when they're sitting at home with nothing to do? To sit like kind of city stuff, but just my mind just
There's
runs
nothing
with
silly
it.
about that. No.
Yeah.
I think we all spend that time with it at the moment. We go, right, what is my character doing now? Okay.
I might be employed to do a job 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, but that's not where my brain is. No.
10 to 4, I'm in my character's head.
It is quite bizarre how much you take on some of their personalities too, and how you refer to them as them and think that they are entirely real.
I'm going to let you in a secret here. They're only one of the thousands of voices in my head, and they're only let out for the day. So.
Oh.
Only thousands of voices, do you? I thought we had more than that. Well, there's
Yeah.
space on the back. Okay, excellent
I
stuff.
mean, Eugene doesn't count. His body type is sponge. So.
But this is the thing, though. Once you have a character enough, they should take over. There should be a point where that character should do something that I didn't think they were going to do. Oh, okay. I mean, writers will say about this all the time. Where there's that moment where the characters take over the story. Yeah, it's going to go this way. No, it's not. Okay, so maybe we're tapping into that side of things, which is.
Yeah, I find myself just sort of walking around at work, muttering in Shadara's voice, or but especially
100%.
in the house as well. But because I'm a GM, I always try and come up with NPC voices. So I'm like, what haven't I done? And I'm like, there was one morning I was walking the dog on. Janie Mac, trying to come up with an old Ronnie Drew type shopkeeper going, you're looking after a few spears there now, are you? All right, now, do you know that'd be 15 of the gold pieces there now. And I didn't realize, but there was someone walking the dog a lot faster behind me, and they were walking by, and I just saw
Running
them
past you.
What the fuck is this guy talking about?
President turn the other way.
Oh
He's just
my
like,
God.
no.
Set the dog on him.
Yeah, but then I'm just like walking around the Shadar. Well, my friend, have you ever heard of the Raven Queen? And all that kind of stuff. It's just.
How many conversations do you and Kate have where you're just in different character voices and not actually?
Yeah, we do that.
We do that, yeah.
Can we get like a Patreon level where if we get enough subscribers, Dave wears a GoPro and just goes around his daily life in character voices?
If that went, I would be sectioned. I would be sectioned straight away. People would see
That's
it
a
on
yes,
Internet
Paddy. We can
Report.
absolutely achieve that one. We can
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, for sure.
We could do that. Just a
500
little home
followers. That's what,
camera.
yeah, we'll just do it.
One of those cameras facing him. You know the ones where it's just like everything moves but his head. You know, one of them yokes. Brilliant.
I am thinking like the home cameras and just seeing them even do the actions as you're walking by. You know, if they're hunched over, if they're tall and majestic.
We'll play the guessing game and say, well, that's Shadar walking that way and coming
Yeah.
back. Well, that looks like.
I'm like, oh no, oh god.
Dave walks into the shop. Which NPC is it and what did he buy?
Whole game going on for me doing this sort of next community night. We're
Comes
sorted.
out with a
Love
tube of
it.
toothpaste, a spade, and one shoe.
That's
Ulick.
That's Shadar. That's Shadar.
That's
No,
Ulick.
Shadar.
Yeah, that's Ulick for sure.
And, and a pack of raw bacon.
Oh, yes.
Ulick is walking up on a hedge with one shoe in his inside pocket.
Fuck do you mean I need 2 shoes? I just wore the other foot.
Yeah.
Marvelous stuff. I'm going to hand back to you there, Dave, unless there's anything else we want to go through our community
No
members. I
worries.
would like to thank those who have joined us, because I'm not sure all of them are staying through with us. But on
Thank you all.
their behalf, I thank you, all the chat, and to all those who joined us with the Emerald Collective at any point in the last year. We will always listen to you. We always interested to know what you have to say. If there's things we're not doing, let us know and we'll do them. If there's things we're doing well, let us know. We'll keep doing them. Support the community around us. We've got Drew, we've got Dean, we've got a huge number of people who have helped us out along the way. Neil from Faya. I mean, I can go for a whole list of the Irish guys. And I won't, because I'll inevitably miss someone and I'll start another international incident. But just a general thanks to all of you. Please stick around for the next year, and we hope to see you next year. Where we much
And see you at AdventureCon.
AdventureCon.
February 22nd and 23rd.
Yes.
Yeah. Of February, not January. Of February.
February.
Sorry.
And with that, we hand over and we'll go into our podcast section. See you in a moment.
Thank you. We're back. Thanks, Repro Gamer. Now we're going to talk about something we've just recently dipped our toes into. That's the podcast world. So you may have seen us promoting our Call of Cthulhu podcast, No Silver Linings, on our socials. But did you know that we have a few other podcasts in the works? So still in the editing room are The Violet Madness, a continuation of our popular Sunday stream, The Stardust Twilight, a new homebrew 5e stream created and run by myself and set on the continent of Sargath, that happens parallel to the Softhrone Saga and Rebirth of the Graven King. And did somebody say they're all three are going to meet up in the woods with some night? Yes, they maybe they will. Then we've got Era of the Body Snatchers, a Call of Cthulhu story, another one from the mind of Mark Corrigan. Children of Fear, a published Call of Cthulhu story set in the Silk Road at the turn of the 20th century, and there may be one more that we can't talk about yet, but it will surely set the Irish TTRPG scene on fire. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is run around the houses here. So we got Freya, Rep, Dean, Stephen, and Ben. The first thing I'm curious to ask, actually, Kate, you're playing podcasts as well. Curious to ask is, so usually when we record these sessions, there are 3 1-hour sessions into 3 hours, so it's the same length of a game. How do you guys find that? Do you find it distracting? Do you find this sort of wrapping up one episode in 3 parts is sort of, it takes away from the gameplay or it adds to it? I'm going to start with start up the bottom left with Ben.
Oh, I wouldn't say I prefer it, to the usual, but no, I don't mind. I think it's an interesting kind of alternative where it does break it up into kind of, well, say for instance, the one that Children of Fear that we're recording, we tend to kind of get 2 episodes in the sessions, but it kind of makes a nice break, little kind of mini sessions. You get your little, and it's almost like a little bit weirdly, because obviously, Mark, as you would if you were ending a regular session, you'd have a little bit of a cliffhanger or some kind of dun 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 moment to end on, especially since it's Cthulhu. It almost kind of gives the effect of like binging a show, or where you've got like 2 episodes to watch, because it's like you get the like, oh shit, I want to find out what happens next. You get that thing, but you don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks or a month, because you're like, oh cool, we're stopping and pretend, we're gonna say all right, bye, see you next time, but then we get to jump back into it.
Yeah. Okay, moving up then, Stephen. How do you find those? Sometimes when we're doing 3 sessions, sometimes it's 2. Do you find it takes away from the sort of from being immersed in it, or does it work for you, or is it not an issue at all?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't really say it was an issue in any way. It's kind of I'm not sure what way to phrase this, but because obviously they've to be, when the recording is stopped, they've to be uploaded, and that takes several minutes. It's kind of nice to have that in between few minutes to be able to, compare and discuss what's just happened going into the next section. Like, it's nice to have a little bit of a
just sort of above the table. I think is that correct on above the table, but I always get them mixed up.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's nice to be able to sort of just
a mini review between it.
Yeah. Cool. And what about Dean? Although I will say, in your experience, Anna, you've done Stardust Twilight as well. It's a whole different kettle of fish when you finish a Call of Cthulhu episode.
Yeah, you know what?
I said to go and change my jeans.
It's a big deep breath. I love it. It's one of those things that for immersion, it does break it up.
Yeah.
But for sanity's sake, mental health's sake, and not wanting to run into the cupboard and lock the door, it's a welcome wee
Yeah.
break in between it. I mean, Mark's games, he's them well written, and he just done them all knitted together, so it gives you that moment to absorb everything that just happened,
Yeah.
and then going back into the next game, is quite handy. It also gives you that wee bit of respite to bond with the other characters in a role play way. I mean, what happened with our two characters, just that sort of halfway through to the end, it just happened, and that was because of what we would have talked about between the recordings.
Yeah.
Starless Twilight is, I'm not gonna lie, I love playing that character. We could run to 6 o'clock in the morning and we could have breaks all the way through. I don't give a shit. Run it on.
It's been good crack, all right. Moving across the house then, Rep. How do you find those breakups or those sort of mini breaks? Are they good, or do they sort of stall the momentum for you in any way? Or?
I think it comes so interesting to me because I mean that's also the first time I've played in Call of Cthulhu, because that's the bit I'm going to. So that's kind of tied up with, it's a new game system. That's part of that to some extent. Yeah, it just, and as people have said, it is just that moment of a breather. It's that kind of, it's, you know, we're dealing with it in a different medium. We're not portraying these in the same way that we're doing. You know, we're not live streaming and picking up things as we go along. This is much more of we're trying to find the bits that really show the characters and really help progress the narrative forward. So it's
trying to find a way out.
Yeah. We're in this tunnel. We shouldn't be here. This is very bad. But yeah, so it's
system
you know, and
you
this,
do that
this
with, yeah.
we've done I have done podcasts with other companies. I'm very sorry. And it's the same thing on those. It's that, you know, there's a break. There's this very much, you know, there's a point where it's just we'll finish here. We'll go off and do something else, and we will absolutely mug into the cameras and we'll try and put people off in the monologues because because why wouldn't you?
Exactly. And last but not least, Freya, how do you find those little breaks? Are they up your street, or do you kind of worry that it's sort of breaking up the flow?
No, I think it definitely changes it from being on stream. You know, you're not, constant kind of thing. But I'd never played Call of Cthulhu before. I've never done podcast recording before. I'd never, so when you guys were like, "Oh, that's it now, we're done. I'll be back in a minute," and you're like, "Wait, what?" But we're at the door. So it is kind of like that episode changeover. But it also gives us an opportunity as well to do one session one night, maybe two another, three another. You're not set to doing.
Well, that's a big
that.
thing, actually, because like we've had session. Actually, we would have had one recently where just the technical gremlins were not playing ball, and we're just like, do you know what? Like, we've 15 episodes in the bank.
Yeah.
It's okay to miss this one, you know.
Oh no,
And
that's
it's
it.
always okay to miss one, but we're not. No one's going to be put under any extra pressure.
But yeah, you don't have that constraint of doing the 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry then.
Yeah, no, like you were saying, it's like it's you could just do one episode where, say, we had a bit of a moment, someone was missing, but it was like, okay, if they're not there to record tonight, then you don't want them gone for 2 episodes. But it's kind of like
3.
maybe we just record 1 episode so we can get a bit played and push on a bit, but they're only out for 1 episode.
Handy as well, if somebody has like something happens in real life, they're like, "Oh, the dog shit on the stairs" or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like,
Or like people can't start until a later time. Say like 8, 9 o'clock, rather than it like streams start at like generally 7:30.
Yeah.
That kind of way as well.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
then whole
joys of
thing's out,
pre-recording.
yeah, whereas you can do it like a little bit. You can get a little bit of a session to record, sort of get 1 episode in.
Yeah.
And that's a good point.
And that's the thing. And I know Mark has kindly offered to produce the Violet Madness recordings. So that kind of takes a bit of pressure off my plate. And I think that's going to be one of the next ones coming up. Excuse me. So that will be, we're hoping to go. We're hoping to go every week now with the podcast. So it'll be Call of Cthulhu season 2 after Call of Cthulhu season 1, and then it would be the Violet Madness on the opposite week.
I won't lie, I am so excited for that to come back because that was my very
so
first
are we.
grab into D&D. And I
Yeah.
just fell in love with all the characters and how you guys played it, and like Andy and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And the way she'd tell you guys off as well, I loved it.
Yeah. I
Can't
think
confirm she's still doing that.
she is still doing
Amazing.
that. Yeah.
And in the Starless Twilight, she's very good at it.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
her character in the Starless Twilight is pretty cool.
Daphne's a mare, hey.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Going back to one of the questions, I think Rep talked about, like, just do you prefer playing or DMing? I think Shadar is one of the only other than Sir Richard, is one of the only long-term characters that I've been playing, and I usually prefer to play one shots because if he dies, he dies. But I put so much work into Shadar that I had to make every fiber of his being all about wanting to die, so that when and if it happens, that it'll be, well, it's, you know, it's what he wanted, and I'm hoping it won't be as hard when you lose, because like losing a character is hard, you know. But yeah,
Terrified of that ever happening.
Here's their twin brother.
Yeah.
This is Rashad. It's fine.
Yeah, you know I existed. But I lived
I've
across the
never
road.
had it happen, and I know it will happen one day. And I think I'm going to be distraught if that ever
Yeah.
happens.
How many near misses have you had?
Catherine's had a few.
A few,
Auri's had at least one that I can think of
Yes.
offhand.
I
Ari
think
had a very
to
big
prove it.
one on that one.
Yeah, Carrick saying losing Crag back in the Dark Ages was a punch to the chest. It is. It's very hard, and I think it's harder on stream, because you have to sort of, like, I don't think any DM is going to be sort of going like, oh, please don't get emotional. Get emotional. Turn your mic off, turn your camera off if you need to. It's a weird environment, I think, to lose a character, and we're sort of digressing here a little bit, but I don't really mind. It is a kind of a weird environment to lose a character that you've sort of worked so hard in the backstory in, and so on and so forth. So it's something I think I'd like to discuss at a later point down the line. Maybe when we have more characters in the Hall of Fallen Heroes, people have a bit more experience with it. But moving on to I think this is far from more organized yet, but I'm happy to talk about the I think Dean's across it, and who else is playing in no, it's just me and Dean, actually. So I think the characters from No Silver Linings are going those that made it are going to return for campaign
spoilers.
3. Well, I mean, it could have been everyone that made it. You don't know.
Catfight comes back from the States with boobs.
But we're going to hopefully record it in person, and we're going to hopefully film it. We're working on this idea. It may or may not happen, and Mark has confirmed that it will be called Bodies of Water, and we are hoping to shoot it in a lighthouse. But we'll
Bodies
my
of water. I don't like fish. I don't like
see
getting
how it
wet.
goes. You heard it here
Invite fish
first.
chips.
We're
We'll
trying.
just wrap you in
our-
plastic. We'll take you out that way. It'd be fine.
Yeah,
You'll be
we're
good.
trying our best to work it out. And so we'll be looking to talk to, like, obviously local Irish film crews and stuff like that, people who can help us, and not I think, you know, so we'll work it out. But some of the characters from campaign 1 will return in campaign 3. And yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be a good one. And but yeah, so podcast wise as well, going around the house, it's kind of the same as the first question, but not really. Sort of, does anyone feel that listening to the podcasts, that because it's pre-recorded, it doesn't have any of the sort of life or zest or zing that a live stream has? How do you all feel about listening to the podcasts?
Love it.
Oh, absolutely. No, I listen to it going in and out to the work and college, and you get so invested. Like, I've missed my turn coming home
Oh yeah, I've done that.
from listening. I'm so invested. And for the last episode, I had to go all the way down to Leixlip to come back because I missed my turn. I was stuck in traffic. I don't feel that you're
The only
missing
diff-
much.
the only thing that is missing from it, I think, is audience participation and talking
Yeah.
and stuff in thing. Because when we're
True.
playing it, it's treading water into nightmare realms. I mean, that's just Mark's games. But when you're listening to it, I hate my voice, so I cringe.
We love your
But,
voice. Yeah.
Only whenever I send you those voice messages.
Yeah.
But
The
there's
accent you
another
do is
couple of
great.
things.
Kate's like, why are you putting the headphones in? Don't worry about it.
But why are you getting into the bath? My old headset. I was listening back, and my old
Where's my
headset.
lotion?
P Diddy has it. The only thing that I hated was my microphone back then. But then when I listened back to it, it kind of had a gramophone kind of noise to it, which I liked. You know, that there was a scratchiness to that old A50. But in hindsight, if we all had that quality of microphone for like 1920s,
Yeah.
you know, that would be a nice wee touch to it. But listening back to it is, I think it doesn't lose any life, doesn't lose anything. Keep sharing it.
Yeah, big
a
time.
different medium, like listening to a podcast. And I think especially for something like Cthulhu, you know, as Dean was saying, it's like where obviously it's two different beasts. Like you do lose, you know, say that audience participation, but almost in contrast, I feel like especially if you're on headphones, you're like listening to something and it's being told. It almost feels kind of like much more personal. Like it's really kind of your peer, because it's just you. You know, it's not like this
You
group.
invest
This is
in
like
the
a
other
personal
characters.
thing.
You're listening to them, and you're like,
Yeah, it's for you. Your peak. It's like reading a book, I suppose, versus going to the cinema and watching a film with a crowd. You know.
There's a podcast I was listening to, and I just stopped because it was too over descriptive. The guy it was more of a narration than anything, and then the characters coming in and done a wee bit of voicing. There wasn't much back and forth role play from the characters.
Yeah.
Which would lose that's where the life would lose, I think, from a podcast.
At that point, it just sounds like it's just an audio book rather than it being a live recorded radio play almost.
Christian in chat says, where was that gone? Yeah, you get emotional when a character in a TV series dies. In that case, you absolutely had no hand in its creation, so it makes sense. And then I think was it Tristan Heron says, absolutely makes sense. And like when I read the Red Wedding scene in A Song of Fire and Ice, Carrick says, I personally prefer the streams. That's only down to the two chat cracking jokes, and that's what I'm trying to think of. Like, is there any merit in having a premiere time for a podcast that like it goes live on YouTube? I don't think you would have the same sort of interaction or the same amount of people checking in, like. Because I know some people do it, you know, that it goes live on Twitch and it goes, well, kind of mainly YouTube, and people check in and the caster in the chat and stuff like that and whatever. But it's never been for me, you know.
No, I feel that would be a bit weird.
Oh yeah, a live, not a live recording.
No, that you would
live premiere.
Live
listening.
Live listening.
Yeah, I think. Well, I suppose for a lot of now, and obviously not in every case, I feel like with that, it's almost if you just do a podcast, podcast is your bread and butter, you might do those to get the kind of interactivity, the kind of thing we get with the stream. Whereas essentially, we have the podcast and the streams, but if you just had a podcast, that's kind of your equivalent. But I feel like it wouldn't be necessary because we do the streams, which are more interactive anyway. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Like listener wise, I think I like the fact of the podcast because I can't speak for everyone, but I travel a lot for work. Like it's a minimum 2 hours in transit a day, and that's only going to like the base yard, let's say. But like I could have to drive 6 hours one day. So having the ability to just listen. But then as a player, I think that our podcasts don't lose anything because in our community, there's no one that like when we go to record, it doesn't take everyone like 15, 20 minutes of the podcast, like to get into character, to get the swing. It's like the second hit and we're going. Everyone's in character. Like Dave disappears and it's Ulick, or like it's just instantly the person is gone and the character is there, like because everyone feels comfortable playing
Yeah.
Like in stream and podcast. Like
Absolutely.
And I will say as well, after on the Wednesdays when the podcast is released, the Discord chat for the talking about it, like it's there. So if you
That's
do
great,
miss
yeah.
out on the chats that you'd have in stream, like it's in the Discord as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So you do get a bit of that over there.
Two different
Yeah.
vibes. Like I think which I think is good in a way that it would make it all more of a homogeneous experience rather than having these two kind of
Yeah.
different flavors, you know.
Oh, I like it. I like having the chats and everyone catching up and going, have you seen this yet? No spoilers.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think so. Let's just a quick chat about the podcast side of the house. And if you haven't checked out our podcasts, we're everywhere. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're on all the usual places. So do check it out. But if you are particularly invested in the podcast, you can check them out 2 weeks earlier than everyone else over on our Patreon. So I am contractually obliged to say that. I think that's a good place to finish up our podcast, John. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we're almost at the end of the stream, but I have a few more questions for our founders before we head off that were sent in on our social media account. So we'll see you in a second.
Bye.
Ooh, I didn't see you there. Hello. Thank you to our founders who are back again. We have a couple more questions in here about the Emerald Collective from our podcast, from our social media family. And I'm just going to go around the houses here. What's your favorite moment from this first year in the Emerald Collective? So I think we'll start with Stephen.
oh Christ.
Favorite moment.
So many to choose from. How do you pick just one? It's hard to pick just one, so I'll probably go with one of the most recent ones, and it was after a Saffron Saga game where you asked a question how Ericsson would feel about something that Mazzello did, Ryan's character, and the answer that me and Ryan genuinely gave matched up perfectly and completely blew you sideways to what you generally thought would happen.
Yeah.
We've
definitely.
taken your world and your idea and morphed it into something you never knew could be, which is I thought that's what the game's all about.
It is absolutely, and it that's as a DM, that's one of the best things you can experience is when your players take what you've laid out, the threads you've laid out, and hand back it like a fucking tapestry. It's fantastic. Okay, Steve. Christian, for you, what's the your favorite moment from this year in the Emerald Collective? And thanks to everyone who sent them in on chat, by the way.
I think I'm good. I think mine was in Ben's Shadowdog game. The reaction of everyone's faces. I don't remember the scene exactly, but I think a bunch of
I can
common
fill you in
folk.
because that was my moment. So me and Christian will share half of them.
So just everyone's faces after. I think a bunch of townsfolk got executed or something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oh wow! Okay, we're gonna need to hear more about this.
It was terrible.
But that was literally because I was gonna say and Christian had was it Christian or was it maybe it was Freya, whoever had clipped it, and I think Christian had screenshotted the which I'm eternally grateful for. Legitimate.
If anyone has that, throw that in the Discord.
Hands on the heads, and I'll dig it out there. It was the slaughter of 6 widows. It was the 3rd episode.
So what happened?
The Iron Blood Legion, the goblins, descended on this town, which the party had been sent to. The village was, or the town was preparing for an onslaught from these goblin warband, and they had gone to an old ruined keep to rustle up. There was supposed to be a cache of weapons, that the townsfolk might need, and they'd been given coin to, here, you adventurers, go off and find this. They didn't find any. They'd all been eaten by rust monsters. So at the time they limped back to town, the goblinoid warband had arrived early. ragtag group of townsfolk, the little militia they had banded together, was pretty much unceremoniously wiped out, and it was left to the party to basically take the survivors, or the ill and the infirm and children, and a few important NPCs who had been gathered up below the Hollow Hill in a bit of a bunker, and with a plan to get them down into essentially the Underdark and escape, a little escape route. So the leader of the village, before she fell, she beseeched him to, like, you have to go get them to safety. So then they fought their way then to the Hollow Hill, and they just got there in time, and then they in turn
slaughtered a family of gentle mole flappers.
They did, yeah. Whose suffering was prolonged by somebody cheering a load of bits and healing them constantly. But it's fine. You just put it down on the taxes as like an animal charity.
Yeah.
You know, save the moles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted the screenshots in the off-topic channel.
Oh, did you? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
I gotta go in there and have a look at that.
My poor player.
Justice for the moles.
That's amazing.
I mean, justice for us. To give you an idea, I mean, look, I had to do it. Look at the cover art of this game, okay? That is the kind of thing you have to do with this fantastic.
It's grimdark.
His little face.
Yeah, it's so funny. Okay, Christian Carrick, what about you? What was your? What was the question again? What was the question again?
What's the most traumatic thing that's ever happened?
Yeah, what was your favorite moment from this year of the Emerald Collective?
I mean, there was one. I mean, I wasn't technically even involved here. Well, I was, but like not directly. I was at my parents' wedding, and I was checking in periodically on the stream as Dave was repeatedly saying how dangerous the encounter was going to be, and I could see the amount of bits and stuff that chat had shared to keep Ren alive while I was not there. And I don't think I've ever been kind of more blown away from the support from this community as that. Like, you know, like, I wasn't even present in the game, and yet people were donating real money to us to keep my character alive, and that's insane to me. And now, I suppose my other one, if I'm more directly involved, would be a lot to do with some of the Sophron moments where, you know, Ren realized that consequence of breaking his deal with, deal. The only one he's actually broken. The other deal, we don't know what that's about. He's just gotten a feat. His breaking his deal with what we believe to be Galasar, and just the rain of rocks down on the party, and then the immediate oh fuck, shit just got real there. I think was a big. Dave has had me paranoid ever since that anytime I cast a spell, something is going to go horribly, horribly wrong.
I will.
So it's been kind of had me on the edge of my seat, really choosing my spell choices. And those two shitty cantrips, as Dave used to say, one of them is really fucking useful, and I just cannot use it for fear of it might murder the party. So it's been be a big one.
All right, and last but not least, Rep.
I've actually mentioned something that off stream, and it'd be the moment when Craig stepped off stage in a club in Manchester and realised there were half a dozen members of the community there in person.
Yeah,
as we managed to pull people across from Canada, England, and Ireland.
That was
somehow.
Awesome.
So I think just that sheer look of his face, just like, wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
Just him there right before his gig, just going, what? Yeah, that for me was a great moment, I think. In terms of in-stream stuff, there've been moments all the way through.
Yeah.
The Radiant Citadel, we've had this I think every session there's a moment somewhere where someone in the stream has just gone, what? Or there's been some little interaction between the players that's been great.
I'm looking forward to
the point where Auri was struck down by a hag, and the entire rest of the party just, we dealing with this now, we're shutting this down, and just that, and that there've been those moments all the way through on all the streams. That's just, it's lovely to see those moments of when the characters take over, and it's just, and chat and players are all just working together, and the DM's going, come on, do it, I'm gonna kill you next turn, you've got to go fast.
Do it. All right. I think we'll look, that about wraps it up. We tried to keep this to 90 minutes. We're only 15 minutes over in Emerald Collective style. But that about wraps it up. We'd like to thank everyone in the community and the RCTRPG scene for being so supportive and kind to us as we found our feet and started to grow at the very start. This is a scene. This scene is a very special one, and we're honoured to be a part of it. We're also excited taking the Emerald Collective out into the worldwide TTRPG scene as well and continuing our journey. All I have to say is thanks to you all for jumping in and tuning in, and we'll see you down the road. You know where to find us, right here on Twitch, everywhere you get your podcasts, and of course on our Discord community. Join in, jump in. We'll get you in and we'll get you on, as we say. We love you all, and thanks for being with us for a year, and we hope we have many more years to come.